Right. Here we are with Hamish, part of the community. And so I thought I'd have a chat with Hamish about remote working because he's a professional at it. Or more the case that he's worked from home for a while and he's got awareness of remote techniques and how these relate to people in the workspace. So thanks for joining us, Hamish. I think this is great. Thanks for coming and offering your time with people. What I wanted to do was just have a quick fireside chat about remote working and what it means to you, and just so we can introduce the group into what the topic's about.
Yeah, so Dave, sorry, I'm going to have to stop you there.
No
Just
worries.
bear with me a second.
Cool.
Because I realised I didn't tell everybody that we're actually recording this. In which case, somebody might.
Yeah. There you go.
So guys, where is everybody? Guys, do not come downstairs for the next 20 minutes until I tell you, okay?
So Hamish is just setting the scene for our call, which I think is fantastic. Okay.
So
brilliant.
There we go.
So we'll jump back into it straight up. So what I was saying, an intro into a fireside chat. So let's just have a chat about remote working, what it means to you, and maybe we can talk about one topic on team working in team environments, something like that. So would you mind sharing with us, say, the top 3 things that you think are most important about working from home, virtual working, remote working?
Yeah. I mean, I think I have to separate it first of all, because there's the 3 things that I would usually say, and then there's the 3 things that I would say now in this particular situation that we're in with COVID-19. So I mean, I guess if we start with the general advice, general situation is, first of all, you have to be, your working at home environment has to be one which you enjoy being in. So that means it's really worth investing in comfort in terms of what you're sitting on. It's really worth investing in the best equipment you can possibly afford, because you're going to be spending, particularly at the moment, spending a lot of time there. So don't skimp on those things. Obviously, the ideal situation is that you also have a separate room. I'm fortunate enough to have that. I realize a lot of people don't. But if you possibly can, then you need a separate room. If you've got like a box room or whatever, which is big enough to fit in a desk, then it's surprising how much you can improve even a very small space just by organizing it right. So that's one very important factor, is to make sure that you enjoy being in that space. At the same time, your biggest enemy when working at home is distraction. That's one of the things I struggled with a lot at the beginning, because when you're at home, the temptation is, well, there are lots of temptations. One of the temptations is that you start thinking about all the things that you have to do at home, like in your normal life, whether that's cleaning, cooking, going shopping, whatever it is. And if you're not careful, then those things start distracting you and taking away from your working time.
So let me ask, I'm curious here, what if there's something that drags your attention away in your situation, what things kind of interrupt for you?
Well, okay, my biggest tip on this point is, and this is a rule for home working generally. I mean, well, it's a rule for all working as far as I'm concerned, but it's particularly important at home. Some of the biggest distractions are any tools you're using for messaging. So whether that's email or any of the other community messaging tools, conversation tools, things like Slack, telephone, obviously. My rule is never answer things on the fly. So, and the way I set up my day is I do 90-minute sprints of focused work on whatever it is. And that's easy for me because a lot of my work involves writing or researching. So I spend 90 minutes on that. And then I take a little break. And then I will batch any phone calls I need to return, any emails I need to answer. I'll do that only twice a day at the most. And so I'll have a half an hour slot in the morning, half an hour slot in the afternoon, to do all those things at once. Because if you let yourself get distracted by lots of incoming messages all the time, you'll never get anywhere. The research shows that every time you get distracted by something, it takes you anywhere between 10 and 20 minutes to get fully back in the flow of what it was you were doing before. So that's a really, really important thing.
So when you start off your day, like I remember when I worked in an office, the first thing you would do would boot up your computer, go and get a cup of tea or coffee or something, and sit down and open email. Like that would be the first thing that you would do, and see what's incoming, get a kind of a sense of how am I going to deal with my day with the incoming that's arrived overnight, or maybe from the boss who was staying until 10 or whatever. Tell us, like, how do you deal with that kind of stuff? Because I imagine you work with a number of clients and people want things from you, that kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is such a huge, I could talk for hours about this. This is such a huge topic. Okay. The first thing you need to do is the night before you plan what you need to get done the next day, right? And you need to, and whatever those things are, you need to plot them in your calendar, make them like appointments in your calendar. Okay, for those 90 minutes, I'm doing that task. I would recommend not starting your day by opening email, unless you're working internationally and you have clients in the US or whatever, and you know that there's something important coming, then you might want to look at it. But I'll just tell you how I do it. Okay, so the first thing I do, and because I work at home, I do this all the time, every day. I wake up early. So I wake up, I get up at 5:30, and the first half an hour of my day is just mentally preparing myself. So I usually do 10 minutes of reading, 10 minutes of meditation. I might even do a little bit of exercise, just a few push-ups or whatever to get the blood going. And then my first working session is 6 till 7:30. So by the time I get to 7:30, I've already done 90 minutes of work, right? And then I can take a break and decide whether I'm going to then do another 90 minutes, which will take me up to 9 or so, or whether I want to check my email at that point. But the important thing from my side is to get something important, get one of your most important tasks done before you do anything else, apart from your kind of wake up routine that I just mentioned.
Right. So this is kind of, it's like the eat the frog thing, kind of tackle the biggest thing first in the day. Is that the kind of approach you take too?